Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This Deep Dive is presented by Bluewater Auto Restoration.
Glad to be here.
We are rolling into week 44 of our 2025 series, and just a reminder, we drop new content for you every Saturday morning. Thanks for tuning in.
And today, we're getting right into the dashboard, the nerve center of any classic or performance car. It's about the choices builders face today.
Exactly. Our focus is dashboards, then and now. The battle of the gauges.
A classic debate.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. This isn't just about looks, though that's a huge part of it. It's really about function, how authentic you want to be, and honestly, that connection you feel with the car.
Yeah, the driving experience.
We're putting those classic, needle sweep analog gauges head to head with the super modern, super accurate digital clusters you see now.
Right. And our goal here really is to give you a solid shortcut to help you understand this divide in the car world because people get really passionate about it.
Oh, definitely.
We need to look at how dashboards even evolved, from these purely physical things to basically software running on screens.
And we absolutely have to get practical. We'll cover the costs, the wiring challenges, which can be significant,
Yep.
and what you actually gain in performance or data.
Yeah.
You can make a smart choice for your own project, whether it's a full restoration or a rest-a-mod.
We'll hit on functionality, looks, accuracy, that powerful nostalgia factor, and like you said, the driver experience itself.
Okay, let's start at the beginning, the old school way. When we talk analog, we mean those mechanical or maybe electromechanical gauges.
Sure.
Needles, dials, physical sensors sending the info.
It's a very tangible system, isn't it? You can almost picture the gears turning.
It feels connected.
And that physical presence is key. The mechanisms themselves were, honestly, quite clever bits of engineering back in the day. Simple, but effective.
So break down some common ones for us, like the speedometer.
Okay, yeah. The speedo, traditionally, was cable-driven. Literally a spinning cable running from the transmission, sometimes the front wheel hub on older cars.
A physical connection.
Exactly. That spinning motion would either, create a magnetic drag or physically turn little gears inside the gauge head. That force moves the needle. Simple as that.
So it's a direct physical translation of speed. Totally different from how we get that info now.
Completely different philosophy.
Yeah.
And the others worked on similar principles, each specific to its job.
Like the tachometer.
The Tach usually read the ignition coil signal. It counted the pulses to figure out RPM. Or, on really old stuff, it might even have been purely mechanical, driven off the camshaft or distributor.
Wow. Okay. And what about things like temperature?
Temp gauges typically used a thermistor. That's just a resistor whose resistance changes with heat. Or, even older tech used a capillary tube filled with fluid or gas running right into the engine block. The pressure change moved the needle.
That sounds direct.
Very direct and reliable, mostly.
And the ones we stare at all the time, oil pressure and fuel level.
Right. Oil pressure is interesting. Often it was purely mechanical, too. A tiny tube carried actual engine oil pressure right up to the gauge on the dash.
Seriously? Oil in the dash?
Yep. It pushed against something called a Borden tube, which uncoiled slightly and moved the needle. Super robust. Now, mostly we use electric senders for that, but the old way was tough.
And the fuel gauge, that familiar sweep.
That's usually a float in the tank connected to a variable resistor. Float goes up or down with the fuel, resistance changes, and the gauge reads that change. Pretty straightforward, really.
So this whole mechanical nature, these dedicated physical links for each piece of information, that seems to be the core of the analog appeal, right? People talk about the dance of the needle.
It's more than just visual, though. That's the cultural note here. It represents, for many, the mechanical life and soul of the car. Well, you don't just see the speedo needle climb. Sometimes you can actually hear a faint whir from the cable, especially in older cars. You feel that instant, almost raw reaction when you hit the gas. The Tach needle jumps right now.
Yeah, it's immediate.
It creates this undeniable connection. Your foot, the engine, the needle, it all feels linked. It's authentic, it looks right for the period, and it's simple engineering you can kind of understand just by looking at it.
Plus, they were built tough, generally.
Yeah.
Simple wiring, direct connections.
And often repairable. A good instrument tech can frequently take an old analog gauge apart, clean it, fix it, recalibrate it. Try doing that with a dead LCD screen. Usually that's a full replacement job, and it can be pricey.
And that whole aesthetic led to some truly iconic dashboard designs over the years.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the history really shines.
Yeah, let's talk examples. The 57 Chevy Bel Air. That dashboard wasn't just functional. It was this sweeping, gorgeous piece, often painted body color. Pure 50s optimism and style.
A classic. Then jump forward to the muscle car era. Think about a '69 Mustang Mach 1.
Right. Different vibe entirely.
Totally. It wasn't about flowing lines, it was all business. Big, clear, round rally gauges. Speedo, Tatch, right in your line of sight. Purpose-built for performance driving. It just screamed power.
And for just pure visual coolness, you got to mention the 70s Pontiac Trans Am.
The engine-turned panels, yes.
That swirly, machined metal pattern housing the gauges. I remember seeing one as a kid. It felt less like a car dash and more like, I don't know, a fighter plane cockpit or something.
It had serious presence. Even into the 80s, the good analog clusters still had those nice chrome rings, physical needles. They held on to that classic feel.
Okay, so we've established the appeal, the soul, the icons, but let's be honest, there have to be drawbacks, especially compared to what's possible today.
Definitely. We can romanticize it, but practically speaking, there are limitations.
What are the big ones? Where do they fall short?
Well, connecting it back to precision, they're just inherently less accurate than digital systems. There's friction in the mechanisms, maybe slight errors in the senders.
And you can get parallax error too, right? Reading the needle slightly differently depending on your viewing angle.
Exactly. Plus those mechanical speedo cables, they wear out, they need lubrication, sometimes they break. And routing them, especially if you've done an engine swap or lots of custom work, it can be a real pain to get them snaked through without kinking.
And the basic problem of how much information you can show.
That's a big one. One function per gauge, that's the rule. Need more data. Air-fuel ratio, boost pressure, transmission temp. You start drilling holes, adding gauges all over the place. It gets cluttered fast.
Right, the classic A-pillar gauge pod look.
Yep. And finally, nighttime visibility. A lot of vintage clusters are just dim. The old incandescent bulbs didn't put out much light. Getting them bright enough to see clearly at night often means retrofitting modern LEDs, which is kind of its own little project.
Okay, so let's shift gears. Leave the spinning cables and resistors behind and jump into the digital age. This is where we move from physical things happening to, well, data streams on screens.
That's the core shift. Modern digital clusters, we're talking electronic systems. They use LED screens, LCDs, liquid crystal displays, or the higher-end TFTs, thin film transistors.
So screens instead of needles.
Right. And instead of reading varying resistance, they're typically reading precise voltage signals or getting data digitally. They use microcontrollers, little computers basically, and increasingly they tap into the car's CAN bus.
CAN bus, controller area network, right. That's the standard communication system in modern cars.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Instead of having a separate wire for almost every single piece of information, the CAN bus is like a digital highway where multiple signals travel together. The dash just listens in for the data it needs.
That sounds way more efficient.
It is. And the number one reason people, especially rest-of-mod builders, make this leap, it's the accuracy and the ability to configure what you see.
How does that accuracy make a difference when you're driving?
Well, digital systems get their info from modern sensors that are already outputting precise, calibrated data. Or even better, they connect directly to the engine's brain, the ECU, the engine control unit.
Ah, okay. So if you've done an engine swap.
Exactly. If you've put a modern computer-controlled engine like an LS, a Ford Coyote, maybe a Hellcat Crate engine into your classic car, that engine's ECU is already tracking tons of data with incredible precision.
Fuel injection parameters, timing, temperatures, all that stuff.
All of it. The digital dash becomes the perfect way to see all that data accurately. It basically translates the ECU's language into something you can read easily. It's almost essential for those modern swaps to work seamlessly.
It's like the bridge between the old chassis and the new power plant.
Perfect way to put it. And the benefits just stack up from there. Visibility is usually way better day or night, often with auto-dimming features.
Custom colors too, right? Match your paint or interior lights.
Yep, customizable themes are common. Plus, multifunction displays. You can cycle through different readings on one part of the screen, which really cleans up the cockpit, fewer separate gauges needed.
And diagnostics.
Huge advantage, easier diagnostics, data logging. You can record peak RPM, max speed, check trouble codes right on the dash, things that were just impossible with purely mechanical gauges.
Now, the sources mentioned it's not just one size fits all. There are different types of digital setups available.
Oh, yeah. The market's got options. You've got the full-on digital clusters. Big names there are like Holley EFI with their 12.3-inch Pro Dash. That's a popular one. Decoded Digital, Intellitronics, that make complete screen-based replacements.
But what if you like the idea of digital accuracy but still want that classic needle look?
That's where the hybrid systems really shine. Brands like Speedhut or Classic Instruments, their Bell Era 3 series is a great example.
How do those work?
They keep physical analog style needles for the main things, usually speed and touch, so you still get that satisfying sweep. But then maybe in the center or integrated subtly, there's an LCD or OLED screen showing precise digital readouts for other things. Temp, oil pressure, fuel level, maybe trip computer functions, warning messages.
Best of both worlds, maybe.
For a lot of builders, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really popular compromise. Then, of course, you get into the really high-end stuff for racing.
Like data loggers.
Exactly. Companies like RacePack, AM, Motec make these sophisticated displays, often with touch screens designed purely for motorsport. Maximum data, lap timing, configurable alarms, the works.
So if someone's starting a project, knowing those brand names helps. Decoded Digital's VHX, RTX, HDX series, those are common retrofit kits, right?
Yeah, those are specifically designed to fit into the dash openings of many popular classic cars and trucks. Makes the swap a bit easier.
Okay, advantages are clear. Accuracy, integration, features.
Yeah.
But we need the other side. What are the downsides? Why wouldn't someone go digital?
Well, the biggest one for many is subjective, but it's real. That lack of tactile, nostalgic feel. A flat screen, however crisp, just doesn't have the same physical presence as layered chrome, curved glass, and moving needles.
Right. It's harder to feel that mechanical soul we talked about if the soul is just software.
Precisely. Then there's the practical side. Digital systems need more complex wiring. They need specific electronic sensors, often called transducers, to convert things like pressure into the voltage signals the digital brain understands.
So you can't just hook up your old oil pressure sender to a new digital gauge.
Usually not. You often have to replace all the senders with compatible electronic ones. That adds cost and complexity. It's definitely a bigger hurdle for a home builder than screwing in a speedo cable.
And if your goal is pure, conquers